Chào mừng quý vị và các bạn quay trở lại với phần cuối cùng của chương trình Tôi và Việt Nam ngày hôm nay. Với vị khách mời chúng ta là giáo sư Clifford J.Shultz đến từ Đại học Loyola University Chicago, Hoa Kỳ. Welcome back. I want to follow up a little bit on what you was mentioning in the last part about sustainability and the messages that you deliver, but you have to actually demonstrate that with the customers. So how do you do that? How do you get verified with that?
That is not so difficult. So I can walk into stores and I can see brochures on tables or on counters. I can see documents, point of purchase materials that articulate sort of where this product came from and that people are being treated fairly and there aren't toxic materials in the products and so forth. I think what firms are typically doing now is being in digital space to create that message. So if I'm interested in Chungwin, I discovered Chungwin as an American consumer. I'm interested in that brand. I'm interested in sustainability. I'm increasingly likely to go to the Chungwin website and see what they have to say, and making sure that there are instruments that I could actually verify their claims about sustainability. So digital space is becoming particularly important in the area of sustainability for verification from consumers' perspectives.
But doing sustainable business or sustainable practices, does it have to come with the sacrifice in terms of profit?
It doesn't have to. Again, I come back to the idea that there's good business and sustainable business practices. So we have a saying in my country, let's figure out a way to turn lemons into lemonade. And I talked about disposable bags that perhaps are biodegradable. If you hear the term sustainability, you think this is a tax, this is a cost, but when you actually do an audit across the value chain, looking for opportunities to be sustainable, you can find tremendous cost savings or new entrepreneurial opportunities. Maybe it's an energy usage. If you change the windows in your buildings, maybe you can save energy there either through heating or cooling.
And it's still sustainable.
It's still sustainable. We make a smaller...
Save you cost too.
Saves you cost and a lower carbon footprint to make the world more sustainable for future generations. Shorter storage. So there are a number of opportunities to be more sustainable, which actually would save money over time. Shifting from coal-fired power plants to solar-powered power plants. Now the startup costs might be higher, but over the long run, the payoff is huge on a number of measures, not just financially, but making the quality of life for the people who live where that power plant used to be. And there are other externality costs that come down. Less likely to have lung diseases, so the medical care costs go down. Seemingly small decision to move from one source of power to another.
But as an emerging market like Vietnam, we are welcoming so much of FDI, foreign direct investments, and foreign companies come here to invest. And that sometimes come with a cost of investment environments. So what is your thought on that? Is there any balance, or how can we prevent that?
This is one of the great challenges, I think, confronting businesses, governments, and global citizens. Yeah. And my advocacy to government leaders always is be as sustainable as you can, be as responsible as you can. I understand there are trade-offs that ultimately have to be made if Vietnam is creating a value proposition as an investment destination and insists that we have the highest global standards of sustainable business practices, and their neighbors all around do not have that same. Hopefully, other neighbors and other investment destinations will share that same sentiment that they want to be sustainable. But again, I just come back to this idea that it's good business for Vietnam, it's good business for the investors to engage in sustainable and ethical business practices where they invest. We talked about technology earlier, because if you don't, eventually the marketplace is going to find out. Eventually. Yeah. And that will cost you dearly. And my counsel to both governments and businesses, it's just not worth it. Saving some money on the front end.
You cannot hide it, right?
Eventually you cannot hide it. Water becomes polluted. We have serious problems that ultimately reveal the people who are not working with integrity, aren't concerned about sustainability. They're only concerned with short-term profits rather than long-term profitability and societal and business welfare.
So you came here to teach as well as the Fulbright Economic Teaching Program.
Yes.
And recently the Fulbright University get an official license to establish in Vietnam. Well, that's a good news.
It's great news.
What is your thought on that in terms of opportunity for the U.S. and Vietnam to cooperate in terms of education and, let's say, higher education?
Well, I think that's a tremendous opportunity, and my university is greatly engaged with Vietnam as well, Loyola University Chicago. We're involved in a number of initiatives, everything from undergraduate education to nursing education. We have our law faculty come here, our medical school faculty. So a number of universities are involved in Vietnam education, and I'm proud to be an international fellow of Fulbright University as well. I think one of the great challenges for Vietnam occurs in the sector of higher education generally. And one of the things that I do is work with my colleagues at various universities in Vietnam to help them with their doctoral programs, to help them with curriculum development. And it's a long process, making this tectonic shift from the way universities have operated here to the type of university that can compete in a global economy. And when I say compete, I'm talking about teaching students the skills and the skills and knowledge that they're going to need to compete against Germany and the U.S. and China and so forth, and to cooperate with scholars and businesses in those countries as well. It starts with education. It starts with educational institutions that are of the highest global standard, and I'm part of a team, many good scholars, particularly at Fulbright University and elsewhere, that's completely committed to that, so that Vietnamese graduates can go forth and achieve all they want to achieve in a global economy.
Is that because we don't really have a good research university over here?
There is good research that's done in universities here, but this is not unlike another macro marketing issue. It's not just one professor in one class. It's the entire university system. What's the curriculum? What are the laboratories like? What are the classrooms like? Do we have access to digital libraries around the world, which is the evolution of libraries, right? I mean, increasingly not having books, but having online data.
Tons of e-papers, e-books, and all kind of materials.
Exactly. And if you don't have immediate access to those, when other universities and students around the world do have immediate access, you are at an extraordinary competitive disadvantage.
True.
And we don't want to see Vietnamese students and future business persons and leaders at a disadvantage. We want them to have the best possible opportunities through the universities to thrive, to succeed, to make Vietnam a global leader in any number of arenas.
So the Fulbright University could solve that problem.
It certainly is a major catalyst toward that, and I'm proud. I'm proud that a number of people have cooperated over a long period of time to make that happen. It's very exciting for Americans and Vietnamese.
Yeah, we want to see you come here to teach us that too.
I look forward to it.
Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của giáo sư Clifford J.Shultz đến từ Đại học Loyola University Chicago, Hoa Kỳ, giáo sư về môn marketing. Hy vọng sẽ mang đến một vài thông tin bổ ích cho quý vị trong chương trình ngày hôm nay. Quý vị có thể xem lại chương trình này trên website FBNC-Vn. Thân ái chào tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình lần sau. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. My pleasure.